Okay. A few seconds early. Right on time. Okay, I started the recording already. Now I'm going to click on the live on Facebook. Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay. Says live stream is happening. All right. So today I want to share with you the free trial of the course that I've created. And if I don't think we'll have time to get to this, but there's a new book in the process of coming out. I'm going to be sharing that with you. So let's just go to screen share, and I'll do the course, as much of it as I can, because this evening is the first live Zoom about it. It's a Q&A, and Thursday is the last Zoom for this. So I figured I'd just go ahead and share it. Okay, this is lesson 1, meet the one rule. This is the longest lesson. I'm just going to do the PDFs. If I have time at the end, I might do a video or two, but I'm not sure that there will be time for that. Let's see. This is the introduction. Friendly parents, the one rule, because we are each important. Welcome to Friendly Parents and the One Rule to Raising Happy Kids Intensive, a way to create harmony with your kids, any kids in your life. This is not speculation. This is tried and true. It has worked for me for over 43 years and for others who have learned from me. In this course, it is my goal to get you to harmony as fast as possible. For you and your kids, I have distilled my work to its essence. In 5 short lessons, you can be securely on your way to being a friendly parent, making harmony your foundation. Intensive means you keep your focus and do the work, including joining the Zoom Q&A and the Zoom One Rule in action. There are other options if you want to do this more slowly. Copy and paste the following link into your address bar, then scroll to see your options. When you buy this course through Happy Kids storybook.co.org, you automatically end up in the Friendly Parents group. Be sure to join so you can get links to your Q&A Zoom call and your One Rule in Action Zoom call. When you buy this course through Thinkific, you go to your student account dashboard. You can complete the course in a day, but you may want to do a lesson first in the Q&A part in the Facebook. And Zoom is not working now. Okay. All right. We're not going to be able to do it this way. But I did have another way set up. Let's see. I wonder if what I can do. Well, I surely can't do that. So, okay. I'm going to, oh, here's where I need to be. All right, let's try screen sharing again. All right, I can show you here what it looks like, but obviously I can't go back and forth. So, but I had the lessons all pulled up, but anyway, this is going to have to happen differently. Okay. Here's the video of the introduction. Then here's the video of the first lesson. Here's the PDF of the first lesson. I was going to read this to you, but that's not going to happen that way. And I do want to share this with you. This is something very new to me, finding your way, your why, finding your why. And then here's that video I mentioned. Okay, let's see. And lesson 2 is Plan for Calm, and that just has PDF. Lesson 3 has a video of the PDF as well as the PDF, so you can choose how you want to experience it. Lesson 4 just has a PDF using the One Rule, and lesson 5 has a video and a PDF, so you can choose how you want to experience this. And this is very important to know: agreement, not sacrifice. Then here's the Q&A call and the demo call, the One Rule in Action. And there's where we work together in breakout rooms, and then all together in the main group. And the story, The Bully and the Guardians, is there because they in the story, the characters do the One Rule in Action. And this is if you want to join the membership, only $1.99 a month. You get so much. This is something that is on every page I have in there. It was from my Montessori trainer. We are not here to comfort children when they cry, but to see that they have no reason to cry. I loved that from the beginning. Happy people not only get to feel good, but they do not deliberately hurt others. They help things be better. My work is to share the tools, skills, strategies I've discovered and developed that help kids grow up happy, respectful, confident. Let's help improve people's lives. And this is if you want to become an affiliate. Well, I wasn't going to have time for all of that because I was going to be going through the PDFs. Now we'll have to see if that's going to work. I did have all the lessons pulled up, so it might be easy to get to them. We will see. I don't think I'm going to go through them in the order that I want to go through this one first. Okay, finding your why. Because I've been using the thinking behind the one rule for so many years now, now it is always my first choice, automatically, even in challenging situations. Today, at the beginning of my morning meditation, this new concept floated into my mind. I think that concept is the missing piece to what I want to share with you, to help you move from where you are to where you want to be, living in peace and harmony with your kids. I've always thought that loving your kids is enough reason to go for harmony instead of unhappiness. I'm sure that this is true, but there is more. From my experience, it seems that you have to come to a decision point where you no longer want to treat your kids in ways that do not feel good to you, and for sure do not feel good to them. That is your why. My why was realizing that I was no longer being the parent I had decided to be and had been for the years that my first daughter was my only child. I had shifted, going back to ways I'd learned growing up, disrespectful, hurtful ways. Yelling at my children had become a pattern. One day, I was shocked awake by the intimidated looks on the faces of my young children. Never again was I going to do this to them. I promised them this right then and kept my promise, my vow. I apologized. I asked if there was anything I could do to help them feel good. They came up with something, and we did it. I tell this story in a booklet you get when you become a Happy Kids member. One person I coached discovered her why. When her daughter was attacking her physically frequently, she decided she did not want to raise her daughter the way she had raised her sons. Another person decided he wanted to live peacefully, harmoniously with his daughter. He was tired of the negative interactions. Although the one rule is simple and easy for children to adopt, It is very different from the traditional ways that adults relate with kids. That's why it helps if you become aware of your why. I'm sure loving them and taking care of your well-being is at the foundation of your why, and it is certainly enough. But you may find it empowering to become aware of the details of your why. Your reason why now is the time to move along the path of peace and harmony with your kids. Question, this is for the assignment for this lesson. What is your why? Okay. Let's see. The other thing I'm going to do here is I really want to get to this lesson, so I'm going to. This is the last lesson, but today it'll be our second. Agreement, not sacrifice. That was a question that came up a lot. Of all that I've discovered and created to create harmony with kids, the one rule is the simplest and most powerful strategy I've come across so far. It's a clear, simple version of what I actually did to create harmony with kids. My kids, their friends, the kids I worked with. The one rule is not to make you agree. It is to help you, support you, as you find something that you all easily agree to. Too often the habit is to insist on what you want, no matter what anyone else wants, or to give in to others, no matter what you want. That's my thing I have to keep working on. The one rule changes this. When you become aware that there are differences between you, you decide to use the one rule to find a harmonious solution to your differences. This even works with adults. You are not giving up on your personal desire. You are expanding it to include someone else, like your child. The one rule expands everyone's goal to include harmony and the satisfaction of all involved. When you use the one rule, you're committed to finding a solution that everyone involved can agree to, because it is a solution that is satisfying to everyone. This is what you commit to when you use the one rule. Everyone involved happily agrees with the solution. That is the rule. I call it happy agreement. That's what I called it when I wrote this anyway. Today, just think about this. Neither you nor your kids are expected to have to agree to something you do not like or that is disappointing. You agree to something that you like, that pleases you. Once you are convinced that the one rule is as strong as I know it to be, you know you can rely on it to get you back to harmony with the kids in your life. The one rule is so powerful, just using it can help you get to harmony. Of course, you have to use it. You can't just know about it and not use it. However, I just became aware of something. Knowing about it is like planting a seed. Just knowing about it is the seed that changes how things were. You now know that something exists that might help you create harmony with or between your kids, if it's used. Most likely, eventually, you'll use it. Someday, you'll have to give it a try. If you take it as far as telling your kids about it, they are very likely to use it. At least that has been my experience with kids. In fact, that might be a good strategy. Tell your kids about the one rule and how it works, and tell them you want to use it, but might forget or not be able to. So you hope they'll help you out by remembering and actually putting it to use. When you make the one rule a common way to interact with your kids and help your kids use the one rule to find their own solutions, you've done a lot toward making harmony the foundation of your family. Here are the questions for this lesson. Think of a situation you would like to solve using the one rule. How would you like the situation to be solved? Write this down if you wish. What is another way you might like it to be solved? Think of another way it might be solved. Repeat this process with as many situations as you like, daily if possible, to make it a habit. And then here's a link to join the membership. As you may have experienced by now, knowing and following the one rule is all you really need to create harmony between you and your kids. Okay. Now we could go. Oh, what is this? Let's see. Okay. We can go to lesson 1. One evening, I was thinking of the 108 tools, skills, and strategies I discovered, created, and used to create harmony with kids over the years, my kids and the kids I've worked with in our Montessori school and in public schools. What is the least people need to know and do successfully to successfully raise happy, confident, respectful kids? What is the one rule? When I explained what I discovered to one of my coaches by asking that question, he named it 108 parenting lessons in one simple rule. I call it the one rule for short. Using the one rule means, now there are times when I think using his name might be good, but at the moment I still use the one rule. Using the one rule means, I need to get some water. You find agreement. That's the rule. The one rule equals agreement. Agreement equals harmony. You find a solution that everyone likes. You found agreement. You found harmony. Follow the rule, and as you need one of the 108 tools, skills, or strategies, or something equally useful, it appears. Why does the one rule work? Apparently, our brain is hardwired to answer questions. When we are asked a question, our brain immediately begins searching for an answer. The one rule is like asking our brain a question, so it immediately begins searching for an answer. We ask, oh my goodness. We ask how we can find agreement. I wanted my children to be happy, to feel good, and I also wanted them to be self-determined, to figure out for themselves what they wanted, how they wanted things to be. When you use the one rule, you create a heart-to-heart bridge between you and your child. That way, you both feel loved at all times. You are loved, and you also feel loved. You and your child get to feel it at all times. Imagine the blissful power of this. Try it, you'll see how great it works. Learning how to harmonize differences and resolving the resulting conflicts in a humane and peaceful manner is what the one rule is all about. You also learn how to avoid getting into conflicts in the first place. The following insights: kids' work, developmental blueprint, and adults first were for a breakout session I conducted at a National Assembly for the Women's Federation for World Peace in Washington, D.C. I was asked to provide the most healing information I could. Holy moly, this is not going to work, folks. Okay, I'm going to just, you'll have to put up with the clickings. I was asked to provide the most healing information I could to help heal the relationship between parents and their children. Kids' work. First, do you realize that children have a very important job to do, as important as any job on earth? It's their job to create an adult, specifically the adult they become. And one of our jobs is to help them do this and hopefully do an excellent job of it. The one rule is created to help this happen. It is distilled from over 47 years of focused attention, observation, experimenting, inspiration, and caring. That's why experiencing, understanding, and using the one rule is so important. It not only makes your child's job much easier, but it makes your job as a parent easier too. That's for a course for harmony with your 2-year-old. Developmental blueprint. No matter what you think your kids are doing, testing you, defying you, following orders, their primary goal is to create the adult they become. This developmental blueprint with its inner motivation ensures that a child masters certain abilities, walking, talking, etc. The child must do what the blueprint dictates. Adults first. Kids learn from adults. Kids are not born ready to fully participate in family life. They need to learn how things are done from adults. When it comes to respect, parents need to give respect to their kids first. You need to show how it's done. You are the model. Your kids need to observe you. When you treat them respectfully, see what you do, how you do it, and experience how it feels. Then they can imitate you. Their job of creating a wonderful adult human being is certainly a job worthy of respect. So let's help them do it. Benefits of the one rule, of using the one rule. Here is some of what you can look forward to when you use the one rule. Kids always feel loved, become competent problem solvers, are respectful, learn to make wise decisions, have self-respect, are confident. Parents get what they want without struggles, have more time for themselves, Feel confident in their parenting. Everyone works together in harmony, which creates more fun, more peace and quiet, more learning, more adventure, more joy. Side effects of the one rule. Harmony with kids. Harmony is the result when you are in agreement with someone, even according to the dictionary. It is the inevitable result of using the one rule. Positive respect mindset. A positive respect mindset is knowing that there is a respectful solution and being determined, committed to finding it. It is built into the one rule. A core belief of positive respect mindset is that you and your kids are equally important. Respectful kids. The one rule is a very respectful practice. One thing I learned long ago is that if you are consistently respectful to kids, they automatically become respectful people. That's what they are used to experiencing. Confident kids. Kids who are practiced at solving problems so they feel good and so do the other people involved, develop a feeling of confidence. Harmonious kids. Kids who are used to using the one rule are used to being harmonious with the people around them. Personal clarity. When it is your practice to use the one rule, there is less confusion in your life. You know how to find harmonious solutions with your kids and others and within yourself. Ability to shift your thinking. When you use the one rule, you often practice shifting your thinking. This becomes one of your abilities. Being a good model. Since you are obviously into harmony, you are being a good model of a harmonious person as you use the one rule with your kids. Raising trustworthy kids. Since you obviously have great communication with your kids, you've seen how they make decisions and work things out. So you already know that you can trust them. If you have any concerns, you can just bring them up. Then you can come to agreement. Ending conflict. Since using the one rule creates agreement before disagreement is created, you've put an end to conflict with your kids. Disagreement is another word for conflict. Self-respect. Self-respect is basically feeling good about yourself, thinking good thoughts about yourself. You're bound to do that when you've created harmony in your home. And here's the assignment for this lesson. Think of at least one situation with your kids where you want harmony, maybe a conflict or a plan. Plan like where you're going for vacation or something, or you're going out shopping, what you're going to do, how's it going to go. You can use the one rule for that. You can write or journal on it. Any more? Okay, let's see. Let's go on to lesson 2. Pre-work, plan for calm. This was, I think, called pre-work in another training I did on the one rule. This training is simple and to the point, based on the mini ebook on the one rule to raising happy kids. Okay, plan for calm, really important, really, really, really important to have something in place for this. make a huge difference in your life. Okay, first, timeout. This keeps coming to mind, so let's start with this. It's best if you explain to your family that in order to keep in a good mood, sometimes you are going to have a timeout, and ask them to please not bother you until your timeout is over. Where? As long as everyone is safe, choose your place. If you need to be present in the room, you might sit in a corner or even just be there listening to something on your earbuds. Enjoyable music, something inspirational or calming. How long? Hopefully, as long as you need to get into a good frame of mind. You could decide beforehand and tell everyone, set a timer, or just tell them you'll stop when you feel good again. During your timeout, do something that is satisfying for you with the intention to feel better. 1, breathe deep, slow breaths. 2, read for a while. 3, listen to music, play music, sing. 4, take a shower, a bath, if you can. 5, meditate, visualize, quiet your mind. 6, work out, dance. 7, call a friend. 8, go work in your shop if you can. 9, something that makes you feel better. Here's your assignment. Create your own plan for calm, or several options. Okay. Let's go. Lesson 3. It's a lot of pre-work in this thing here. Preparation and pre-work. The one rule is simple, so simple that it was actually discovered and co-created with 3-year-old children. We didn't know we were doing this until it was revealed to me many years later. If you actually put to use what you learned in the first and second lessons, you end conflict and replace it with harmony, and no one has to give up what is important to them. Preparation, the one rule, start strong. The one rule is going to become your new habit. To create this new habit, you're going to start with yourself and what you want. If it feels good, then you can agree with it. If not, you cannot. To start with, when you're looking at situations, you can do it in your mind, or you can write them out and even journal on them. You look at situations with kids one by one and decide, is this situation okay with me just as it is? If yes, your work on that is done. Go on to another one. If no, what would have to change, be different so that I could feel good about this? Maybe several versions of this situation would feel fine with you. Maybe only one. This is your first practice as you create this new habit, following the one rule. This is a good practice, no matter what age your kids are. It helps ensure a strong start and makes following the one rule so much easier. As you know, agreement is what the one rule is about. Although I'm going to focus on a little on children younger than 3 right now, the fact that you are doing the work of finding harmony with them gets you into the habit in a way that is helpful when you introduce the one rule to anyone who does not know about it yet. When we are dealing with babies, toddlers, and 2-year-olds, our role with them is to do the work. Just like we do in the Start Strong exercise, it's up to us, the adults, to find harmony with our little ones. They are finding harmony with their lives, their developmental blueprints. More on this later. We do this by becoming used to finding what is agreeable to us and seems to be agreeable to our little ones. How do we know? They go along with it. They don't resist. They don't cry. If you are not used to doing this, it may take trial and error to start with, but you will eventually become skilled at this. It will give you time to become dedicated to finding solutions that are agreeable to all involved. Their cooperation or non-cooperation will help. It is a clear guideline. It becomes a habit, a good habit that leads to harmony. One thing to keep in mind as you are forming this habit, you never have to agree to something that you do not want to do. If you think about it enough, or even better, ask your inner being, you'll find something that feels okay for you to do, and you can tell that your child is comfortable with your choice. I had no background of being able to do this. I didn't even know it was a thing. But it is what felt best to me. It never felt good when I did not follow this practice. When I tried to force my kids to do as I wished without considering what they wanted. Now I know it is a thing. It is following the one rule, finding agreement, finding harmony. When your child is about 3 years old, they can become partners in following the one rule. I'm using the age of 3 years old as a guideline. It is not meant strictly. As soon as your child is able to accept easily that you might need something, then you can go for agreement with them. Then they can relate to, just a minute, then they can relate to, I need a drink of water before we go. That's when you can start pointing out when there seems to be a conflict. You are important and I am important, and we both deserve to have a good time. So let's figure out how we can do that. Then you can make a suggestion, unless they come up with something that's first that sounds good. And here's the assignment. What are some of the harmonious thoughts you might have about the person you're working with? Notice situations between people. Especially look for harmony in action. Choose at least one situation to write about. Think of situations in various ways you might deal with them harmoniously. Write these as a regular practice, maybe daily, or record them, or draw them, or act them out, alone or with friends. Do something creative with them. This gives power and emphasis to what you want. Okay. Lesson 4. Here we go. Oh, this is one of the shortest lessons. Oh my goodness. So it's like the one rule is so simple that the lesson directly on it is short, really, really short. All the rest are support to help you do this. You can do this. You don't need to even think about the other things. They'll just happen automatically. The one rule equals happy agreement. Use the one rule when differences between you and your kids might lead to conflict, or whenever you want a harmonious solution, like when you are making any kind of plan. I'm bringing up the plan idea because I hadn't really thought of it, and it got brought up to me, and I thought, wow, that is so cool. I'm going to include that. So I've written it in. Okay. Today, just think about this. When you're interacting with your kids, just think about this. Think about everyone feeling good. Think about happy agreement. Think about easing stress for you and your kids. Sharing the following 3 agreements can make using the one rule even easier. 1, we are each important. Demonstrate this by pointing to each person involved and saying, you are important and you are important. If you are involved, point to yourself and say, and I am important. Now, it has been pointed out to me that some people might want to start with I am important and then to you are important. It doesn't matter. Whatever works for you best. 2, we each deserve to feel good. 3, we are going to find a way for this to happen. When you actually give this a try after telling each other what you want, start bringing up possible solutions until you settle on that idea or combination of ideas that you all agree on. You put the solution into practice for a limited period of time, like a week, checking back with each other to make sure it's still working. If you like, write about it in your journal. Okay, so I think that is it. Okay, that is it for I'm glad I set this up beforehand and didn't just want to use the free trial version. Oh my goodness, that didn't work out. I couldn't flow easily between the lessons and this main page. So, okay. Now I wanted to share with you oh, it was back where I was. I can continue screen sharing. I wanted to share with you yeah, it's better I get it this way. Because where I was, it had a different name because I've changed the name. So it wouldn't work. All right. We're going to find it. Here it is. Friendly parents. Okay, so the course is completed, I guess, after Thursday, I will have finished the free trial version, and then it will just be available for a paid version. If somebody needs the free trial, they can get in touch with me and I can hook them up that way. Otherwise, it's $50 for the training, including the 2 Zooms. Okay. So then the next thing that I'm working on is this, the Friendly Parents Storybook. Raising Happy Kids with the One Rule. This is all the stories that I have written. Because one thing that I discovered when I was writing my first book, I had never written a book before, but I didn't even intend it to be a book. But once I realized it was, I had been invited to go to India and create educational centers. But I decided before I could do that, I had to write down to share with all the people that lived in the area I lived in, where I worked with their children, and many of them were actual friends. Anyway, I needed to share what I feel. Well, it wasn't just me. Other people had asked me about this too, like if I would write down what I did differently, how I thought about it. And so I decided before I could go off to India and do this, I needed to write this down for people. I needed to share. I couldn't just go and not share this. So as I started writing, it turned into a book. And at the time, it's interesting because Friendly Parents is a name that got given to me recently to use, and I love it. But my first book was Friendly Families. I'd forgotten about it. There aren't that many copies of those around. I only have one myself. Anyway, but one thing I learned while I was writing, because I was trying to learn about how to write and all of that. And one thing that was recommended was that if you're going to be professional, you put time in every day. Best if you can do it at the same time for the same amount of time. Anyway, so I did give that a try. And I found out that unless I am unless I'm in touch with my inner guidance, unless I'm getting my words, my writing, my thoughts, all of that from that part of my being, I ended up just throwing the stuff away. And if I did, like one time I remember getting into, you could call it, some people would call it the zone, dropping in, being in alignment. All of those terms are what I mean. And I remember once writing nonstop for 10 hours, and I used everything in the book. I didn't discard or feel I had to discard anything. So I've gathered all these stories because they were all written from that place. Everything I write is from that place when it happens or it doesn't happen. So it was suggested to me that I put my stories together from someone who had heard one of them and really liked it. Other people like this story too. It's the story I start with, the guardian story, the first guardian story. Anyway, so I decided to gather all of them that I have so far, and I'm going to be adding to this as we go along. So I have like 77 pages together on this project. I have to go through it, make sure it's all in alignment with the one rule. because when I wrote a number of the stories, it had nothing to do with the one rule. It had to do with the power of respect. And they work well together, but since the subtitle is Raising Happy Kids with the One Rule, I want to make sure that everything lines up with that too. So now the other thing that I'm going to be doing for this, besides putting this storybook together, Friendly Parent Storybook, is having story time. I'm going to do a Zoom Facebook Live combination and read stories for friendly parents or people who want to be friendly parents, or even kids. I mean, kids loved the stories in my first book that I put out. I remember one, like, maybe she was preteen, coming up to me. She was taking a look at the book, and she said, "Oh, can I get my mom to buy this?" And of course I said, "Yes, of course." Anyway, kids loved the stories. So I'm not sure if they're going to have a time, but anyway, I'm going to be doing this starting very soon, maybe even today. Okay, it is time to stop the share. And I hope you all have a wonderful week and have a great time getting along and using the one rule. Okay, wish you well. Stop live stream.